Hello everyone, it's Jane here from Sherwood Messy Church. Over the next few Saturdays, we're going to be thinking about some of the people that met Jesus after he'd come back from the dead. And this week, we're thinking about Mary. And our activity is to help us think about the story of Mary. Mary met Jesus in a garden on Easter morning, and it was then that she realised that Jesus was alive. And I'm going to show you now how to make this picture that can help us to see what might have happened on that Easter morning. So for this activity, you need these things. You need a plate or anything that you can draw around to make a circle, some scissors, some glue and a pencil. You also need some other bits and pieces, but we'll come to those in a moment. Now it might be that you have a round paper plate. If you have, you could use that. But if you don't, you need to make a circle out of a piece of card. It could be from a cereal packet, any piece of card that you've got, and you just put your plate on it, draw around it and cut it out so that you've got your circle. And then you need to make the grassy part at the bottom. And for that, you can use a piece of green paper, or if you've got a green pen, then you could colour to make the grassy part. If you're making it out of paper, you can put the piece of paper onto your circle and then just cut it round so that it fits along the bottom there. And then I've just done this kind of edge on the top here to make it look a bit more like grass. And then you just take your glue and stick it on to your circle. And that will give you the grass, because this story, the story of Mary, takes place in the garden. And this circle here is to help represent the tomb, the place where Jesus' body was put. And then we want to make the background bright colours, because this is a story of a new day, of something new and wonderful happening. And there's all kinds of ways that you could do that. You could use some pens. If you've got some pens, you could use those to make a bright colour. You might have some bits of tissue paper, like I've got here, that you could tear up and you could stick those on. Or you might find a piece of paper a bit like this here, which is really bright colours and lots of flowers on it. You could cut that paper and stick that on. Or you might have some bright coloured fabric like I've got here. There's some pink there and some orange and yellow. You could use some bright coloured fabric and stick that onto the top part of your circle. I've got here just some bits of paper that I've torn up to put on the background. So you can see here I've got some orange and some blue and I've got some yellow, and you can either cut these out or you can tear them into strips, into pieces, and then stick them onto the background. And once you've stuck those onto the background, you need to create your hand shape. And this is going to show the bright light at the tomb. And so just get your piece of brightly coloured paper, draw around your hand, cut it out, and then stick that on to the circle. But we want to remember too that this is all about Jesus' death. It only happened because Jesus died. So we need just a small cross, and I cut this out of a dark coloured piece of paper, and then that cross can be stuck onto the hand like I've got here. And so when you've assembled all of your picture, then you can write on it something like, "He is risen." Those were the words that the angel said to Mary when she went to find Jesus. He is risen. And so this you could put a hole in the top and you could hang it up in your house to remind you of the story of Mary, one of the first people to meet Jesus when he come back from the dead on Easter Day. Have fun.